And welcome, everyone. I'm so thrilled to have you joining me today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Deborah Eckerling, author of the award-winning Your Goal Guide, a roadmap for setting, planning, and achieving your goals, and founder of the DEB Method, which is my system of goal setting simplified. And every week, I run the Goal Chat Twitter chat on Sunday nights. And then Mondays, I bring in a wonderful panel to dive deep into the content. And then on Thursday, it magically turns into an episode of the Deb Show podcast. So whether you're watching live or watching the replay or listening, we are thrilled to have you here. And it's the beginning of the year, so it's New Year, New You. So my theme for January, we're going to do mind, body, spirit. And of course, that all starts with mindset. So I've gathered some mind melding awesome women to discuss today. I have with me Bernadette Boas, and she is the Ball of Fire coaching lady and Ball of Fire media. And more importantly, she's the host of Shedding the Bitch. And that's how we met, because she reached out, or her people reached out and said, hey, want to be on the show? Yay, new friend. So thrilled to have you here. And Stacia Crawford from Stay Ready Media is here. She is a producer, but a media trainer. And I was saying before, every few months, she does these wonderful workshops. And I always attend because there's always, first of all, really good co-attendees, but always something new and interesting, because you have to be in the right mindset to get the right media.
Absolutely.
And fellow Mango author Rachael Wolff is here. And I've been on the other end of Rachael moderating a Mango Heart panel, so now I get to turn the table. So thrilled to get to know you better. And I've got, wonderful people. I think I'm going to let them introduce themselves a little bit better. So Bernadette, let's start with you. Please tell us who you are, why you're here, and why you love mindset so much, because, well,
I do, because it's just everything that we are. It's who we are. So who am I? Bernadette Boas, Ball of Fire Inc., which is made up of Ball of Fire Coaching and Ball of Fire Media, as Debbie said. I am a business success and transformation coach, speaker, author. And as she mentioned, I have a pod video cast called Shedding the Bitch. And so I work with female coaches, consultants, and service providers to help them really transform their business and their life and create riches in both their work and life that they deserve. Mindset is important because it's everything. I mean, and I've learned that the hard way over the past 12 years as I have been shedding my bitch, as the radio is appropriately called. Learning, recognizing that, yes, mindset is really rules everything that we are doing, we are achieving, we are attracting, we are experiencing in life. So it's key.
Awesome. Totally key. I discovered last week that the key to sharing is to do it while we're live. So here I am, multitasking, something that, so if anybody knows me, it surprises no one. And so Bernadette, I'm really thrilled, because part of why I love doing this show is I get to bring my people together and they get to meet each other. And I'm so excited, because it's all about the good conversation, especially we live in technology land, and this is how we get to meet and dive on in. So Stacia, please introduce yourself, share why you're here, and
Gladly.
Go from there.
Absolutely. I am Stacia Crawford, and I'm the CEO and the founder of Stay Ready Media. I'm also a television news producer, which I have been doing for over 30 years. And I have worked in some of the top markets in the country, including Chicago, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Connecticut. So I've been producing for over 30 years. My business, Stay Ready Media, has been around for 10 years. It'll be 10 years this year. And I help entrepreneurs, I work with authors, I work with industry leaders, influencers, experts, anybody who has a story to tell. And what I do is I help them to harness the power of media, getting in front of television stations, getting in front of magazines, getting interviewed by podcasts such as this one, and really helping them to really hone in on their story and using those methods that we may not necessarily consider. There's so many opportunities that are right there in front of you. And so what I help you do is really create the magic in your story and share it with the masses through media. Why is mindset so important to what I do? It's like Bernadette said, it's everything, because a lot of times people will come to me and they think, well, I want to be on TV, but when you're going on TV, you're really kind of exposing all of who you are. Sometimes people will think, well, yeah, I'm a business owner, or this is what I do in the world. This is how I transform lives. But it all goes back to your mindset. You have to believe that you are worthy of media attention, because knowing that not everybody gets to step on that stage, not everybody gets that spotlight. And so you have to be worthy, you have to be confident, and you have to know, like you know, that you have something that's going to serve that audience.
Woohoo!
Love it.
Awesome, amazing, important. Owning it is the first step. And one of my favorite quotes is the Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
You are right. That's right.
Bam. Rachael, good to see you. Welcome. Please introduce yourself.
I am Rachael Wolff. I'm the author of Letters from a Better Me, How Becoming an Empowered Woman Transforms the World. I'm also I also write the blog FromALovingPlace.com. Everything I do is about perspective. It's about understanding how our perspectives are our power or our prison. And we create that. We create it daily. And from those perspectives, we gain our mindsets, because how we view ourselves, how we view the world around us, how we view our relationships, all contributes to what we are saying we can be in this world. So that's everything I do in my work, is connecting it all to what choices we are making for ourselves in our relationships and with ourselves.
Love it.
Awesome. And I love that you use the word choice, because everything's a choice. We can choose to have a good day. We can choose to have a bad day. We could choose the way that we present ourselves to the world. So mindset is ... Rachael?
Mindset is what we are choosing to live by. It's our thoughts that we choose to live by. And we create our realities through those choices.
Awesome. What do you think, Stacia?
I think mindset is the essence of who you are. It's just that simple. It's who you are, because everything that we do, everything that we think, everything that we attract, it all starts with our mind. And so, even in my business in media, I've had some people who've been at the top of their game, killing it in their business, and then they see someone who's a competitor who may not be as big as them, and they're thinking, well, why is this person on TV and not me? Because they believed that they belong there. It was just that simple. They believed it. And so that's what mindset is. It's your belief.
Nice.
Yeah. Can I add something there?
I was just going to ask you to, please.
Yeah. I think it's also your knowing. It is your belief, but it is your knowing. Because I'll be honest with you, since I've been going through what I call my shedding process since 2008, when my whole world kind of changed around me, people would say you have to believe, and I would hear that statement, and I'd be like, well, I believe, but yet all this crap was happening around me. And I'm like, but if I believe, and I truly believe that I deserve and that I'm worthy and that I'm good enough, then how is all this stuff happening? And So then I was having to what I call excavate my soul. So, I sent myself through a process of excavating my soul to the point where then I was knowing, then I was really discovering what I was believing, what I was conscious of believing, and then even drilling into, oh my God, what I was subconsciously believing, which was preventing everything that I truly wanted. So I think knowing is really important as much as believing, because a lot of us don't know what our beliefs are until we spend time with ourselves.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do too. So it's the process. So believing is one thing, knowing is something else. Another part of it is embracing what you're good at, right? Because I use this, food always comes up in my conversations, but I think food bloggers are a really good example because they're everywhere. They've always been everywhere. They're always going to be everywhere. But what makes them different? It's who they are, what they believe, and their spin, their background, their experience. But I think that applies anywhere as to goals, because you need to see the future you want to get it.
Right. I happen to call it honor your riches. Because if you listen to the name of my show, Shedding the B, then it's, shift from B to R, bitch to rich. And I say that you have to honor your riches. You really have to acknowledge and be proud, and not necessarily, well, you could boast media, right? Right, Stacia?
There you go. That's right.
Yeah. And you have to be, you have to kind of take inventory, take stock of all of those riches that make up who you are, and honor them and be proud of them and use them, leverage them, exploit them sometimes. Obviously Stacia can help you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, and part of that too is not just boasting, but also serving. I think that is where that's what so many of us are missing as that foundation. When you have a foundation of service, it's like, this is who I am. This is what I do in the world. This is what I offer to the world. And you take that same formula to the media. It's like, this is how I'm serving the world. Not just, I just want to be on TV just to be on TV, but this is what I'm offering, and that goes back to, honoring your riches. What are you good at? What makes you special? What makes you different? And what do you bring to the table? What do you offer?
One of the ways I noticed that, like with what you're both talking about, is the way we sabotage ourselves in that is we don't realize we self-abuse. And that's in the mirror. And I think that's the difference in knowing and believing, is because to be able to give, like from a loving place, let's say we're doing charity work and we're not giving to gain our worth out of what we're doing, but we're giving for the love of it. It makes a huge difference in our energy and what we attract back to us with that. And when we self-abuse, we're going to project that energy out and get it back. So then when we're giving, we become martyrs, and you can't believe all the stuff that I'm doing and I'm not getting anything back. And that's all a part of perspective and mindset, is because it projects out from within. You can't fake energy. You can't fake where we're actually coming from. We can pretend with our words, but what we're attracting is all about what's coming from within. So I think it's so important that knowing, believing, and doing things for the reason that fills us, not that makes us feel empty because we don't get recognition for it.
Right. You know how a dog can sense if someone's a good person or someone's not a good person?
Exactly.
You know how they sniff each other's butts all the time?
Yeah.
That is what people do, and they don't even know that they're doing it. But if you're approaching them and you're in this desperate, insecure, anxious, place,
it comes through.
It reeks.
Yeah.
And I was so effing guilty of that for so long that I just reeked all over people, and, and wondered why, I repelled, relationships, and I repelled, various things in my life. Yeah, it's absolutely true, Rachel. Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing how we do that. I'm literally right now just writing a book all about that, and actually breaking it down word for word, how we sabotage ourselves and how we get out of that.
Yeah,
So.
we do. And, and that's one of the reasons why you probably hear this expression a lot, fake it till you make it. And, it's one of the reasons why it just makes me cringe.
I love that. I love that statement. I know Rachel's like, I have been living that way. I have used that as a practice since I was probably 18 or 19. And it's not about faking it to where you're being disingenuous.
Okay.
But because Stacia, you must say it. If there's somebody that's insecure about getting in front of a camera, right? What do you tell them? Take a deep breath. And you might not think you're saying fake it until you make it, meaning go out there, take a deep breath, be confident, sit up straight, put your shoulders back, you'll come off, but that's faking it until you make it.
Well, okay. And that depends on how you look at it. But then instead of faking it, it's like, then what you need to do is work on making the real transformation.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. There's a long term, and then there's that short immediate. And I believe in the short and immediate when it comes to faking it till you make it. And trust me, I have this debate with people all the time.
Well, what I love about this is it's all about perspective, because you, Stacia, can view it one way, you can view it another way, I can view it another way. And it's whatever we believe inside of us that will create the space for that. So if I don't like how it worked for me, I'm not going to use it, but I'm not going to say you can't use it, because if it works for you to get you to the place you need to be, then that works. But it's because of how I perceive the words in it and how I perceive the energy about it. It doesn't work for me, because when I tried it, I got my car keyed because I was faking it so much, being nice, that someone keyed my car for how nice I was. Are you serious?
So you were faking
my energy didn't match the actual way I was feeling inside, because I was trying to put on this facade that I was this happy person, and I was miserable inside, screaming in a prison to get out. Right. And for me, that's where I go back to when I hear it.
Yeah.
So that's why it doesn't work for me. But I can see how it can work for other people if they don't have those kind of experiences. Right. It's our experiences that create those perspectives and mindsets.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I love this debate. Fake it till you make it, good or bad? And the answer is yes.
The person who can and the person who can't, they're both right.
Exactly.
That's right.
And so, well, you all know me. So the D and the Deb method is determine your mission. When you know who you are, what you have to offer the world, and how it helps others, it goes back to what Stacia was saying, but what everybody's saying. When you have that genuine, the thing that you love, that you're good at, and in a way, it's your responsibility to share that with the world so you can help others.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But sharing it with, I just want to emphasize something, if I could, though.
Oh, please.
But sharing it with others doesn't necessarily mean you're charitable. It doesn't mean that you don't put a price tag to it. It doesn't mean that you don't earn your value. It doesn't mean that, because I get a lot of people that come to me and they'll say, well, I should just be serving and not like, and just do it for like $25 and I'm just like, okay, you're missing the point.
Right.
you're missing the point of all of this. And I do believe, and I think Rachel touched on it, from a charitable perspective earlier, but I do believe there's a place where we, and I can't speak for the rest of you, but where, like, for instance, I have a certain number of charitable clients that I'll bring on in a given year, that will be pro bono.
Sure.
And then the rest of it is obviously, I'm not a nonprofit. I'm a for-profit business.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, but there's so many, especially women, there's so many women out there that feel as, you know, and they're questioning their worth, and they're, you know, and they're questioning their confidence about putting a price tag to what they are being told that they should be serving, which they're automatically saying that that's free. And I just needed to emphasize that, yes, we all should be serving, and we should all use our talents to serve and to give and to help and lift up. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you're going out there as a charity.
Right. No, absolutely not.
And
No.
some people struggle with that because they go back to either money's evil. People, if you do something that's helping others, you can't make money at it because otherwise you're doing, you know, and it goes back to these ideas in our heads that are still attaching somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to look at where those ideas are if people are trying to make money.
Right.
Just make sure you're not sabotaging yourself with the ideas. Because if you say, you know, money's the root of all evil, I hate money, da 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 da. Well, then you just projected that out. So anytime that it comes to you, it's going to go right out the door, or you're going to sabotage it even coming in the first place.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's that mindset. It creeps in. It's everywhere. It creeps in even when we don't recognize it, right? So yeah, when we're learning these lessons, even as children, that, you know, the love of money is the root of all evil, and, you know, people who have a lot of money are bad people, and, you know, and they got that money by doing bad things or being out of integrity. And these are, you know, the statements that we tell ourselves, you know, from the time that we're kids.
And so but this is where knowing and unknowing comes from, though, too, because I know for myself, from what you said, Stacia, is my excavating of my soul that I talk about is I really had to personally, I had to dig into every negative thought and belief I had of myself, and I put it down on paper. Mm-hmm. And then I went one by one going, where did this friggin' thing come from? Mm-hmm. And some of it was obvious and jumped out at me. Right. But there was one that was just totally ruling my world unknowingly. Mm-hmm. And it took me a good number of years through my excavating of the last 12 years to identify it. And it was, you know, I'm a middle child of 12. You know, everybody teased me that I was adopted. I believed it until I talked to my mother, and she laughed at me thinking, oh, she's so sweet and, you know, naive. And I believed for 35 years that I didn't fit in. I didn't belong. If I wasn't, you know, a real, you know, Boas, then, you know, where do I fit? And it traumatized me and really, it, you know, kind of altered a lot of parts of my life until I recognized it by just really digging into, okay, what are my negative beliefs and where they come from? Mm-hmm. And so that's where I also believe knowing comes in, is some of it's going to become apparent when you answer the question, where's this coming from? And some of it, you have to dig to know it's there.
Yeah, a lot of it you have to dig, because not much of it is going to be on the surface. And that's the work we're often afraid to do.
Yeah. Oh, good point. Scared.
Yeah.
Petrified.
Yeah.
I say that's digging in the dirt. We got to dig in the dirt to uproot it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Digging in the dirt.
Because, and that's the thing is, what you were saying, Bernadette, was about what you had to do. I had to do something similar with love. I had so many faulty definitions of what love was. I let it get so bad that I accepted abusive behavior as love. I mean, that's how bad our mindsets can play into accepting and, you know, giving, receiving behaviors. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't until I had to go back, see how I viewed it, and then redefine it and find the definition that actually projected what I wanted to give to the world. Yeah. And only because I knew only then could I get that back, is if I was the one projecting it out. Right. So it made all the difference in just those shifts of perspective. But I had to dig to get them. I had to dig freaking deep.
Yeah.
But to Stacia's point, how hard, you had to dig deep, but how hard and painful, like what were your emotional experiences, while you went through that, just so everybody doesn't think that you and I have been doing these type of things, Stacia, probably Deborah, and it's like that. Oh, okay, we're,
No.
Yeah, raise your hand if you've been accused of being too perky.
Yeah. I mean, I have a friend, she calls me Positive Patty because, when, sometimes she wants to have a pity party and I'm trying to get her to see the lighter side of things. And immediately out of her mouth is, but you don't understand. You're always so positive. And it's like, you can choose to be negative or you can choose to be positive. That doesn't mean that the situation that you're going through doesn't really exist. It doesn't negate it. It doesn't, take any, fact away from that. But again, it goes back to what Rachael was saying about perspective, right? I mean, it's all about your perspective. And so you can address it, I guess you could say glass half full or glass half empty, but how you approach any situation, your mindset gets there before you do.
Oh, I like that.
Ooh, I like that too. Bernadette,
So
you didn't
true.
raise your hand.
Yeah, no, I would never. And the only reason why is, self-awareness. Those that know me, know who I was, the whole preface of everything that I do now. Mm-hmm. And they, people's perceptions are slow to change, if not impossible to change. Mm. So, I wouldn't call myself perky. That's not a word I would use to describe myself, but I would call myself very optimistic and positive. But yet, 45 years to alter like 45, 50 years of the state of being that I was in for so long, of being a bee. Mm-hmm. Those perceptions are hard, if not impossible to change. So no, they wouldn't call me, at positive or perky. They would still say that I was a bit irked, angst, even though I was, then they would say, well, she is optimistic and positive and a go-getter and a risk taker and all those things. But yeah, they just also, it's blurred. People's perception is blurred. Mm-hmm. And yet I also have a lot of B's I still work through. I still have my my own little limiting beliefs that I have to work through. Now I just have tools to do that.
Right. Yeah. And we need those. And like one of the things that you were saying, people's perceptions, people view you, their mindset not only affects them, but their mindset affects how they see you.
Right. Yeah. Right. And that's why I don't care.
Right.
Like I don't. And when I say that to people, I really don't care what you think of me. Like, ladies, I can't control what you think of me.
That's right.
Would I like a certain perception? Absolutely. But, but I can't. And I gave up on that just like about 6 or 7 years ago. I gave up on trying to control what other people think of me. And, now it's kind of like I can't spend time worrying about it.
I grew up all my teen years with my mom telling me it's none of your business what people think of you.
That's right.
I love that.
I know. I love it. I didn't love it at 13. But I love it now.
Well, I didn't understand it. Like, seriously, Rachael, I heard that statement. You'd be surprised at how little people think of you. Like, that's how I heard it is, you'd be surprised at how little people really think about you. And I heard that statement like 9 or 10 years ago as I'm shedding. I sat with it probably for a year, 2 years going, what the heck does that mean? Like, what do you mean? Because I thought everybody cared what I thought everybody, I thought I was on everybody's like top 5 list of, that's how narcissistic I was for a period. And then all of a sudden it kind of rang true. And I'm like, holy crap, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
And I think social media has just perpetuated that because we see things posted and, we're like, was that a dig at me? Was this person, we just had a conversation about that, and now they're posting this. Was that directed at me? Right? But again, I don't care. That's what you have to think.
I can't, even when they direct something at me, I'll respond. I'll be kind. I'll be forthright. I mean, I won't let anybody demean me but at the same time, I just can't I can't let it cling on to me.
Right.
Because to what you said, Stacia, it's their mindset that's dictating how they're responding.
Right.
One of the things that's got me through is to understand that I'm responsible and accountable for the energy, for my words, for my stories, for my actions, for my inactions that I put out to the world. I am not responsible for what other people bring into the world. Right. And they are responsible and accountable for their stories, their actions, their views of the world. Mm-hmm. I can't take that on. I won't even take on somebody's blame. I'm sorry that you feel that way, right, and we can discuss it. But how we respond to things is ours. We disempower ourselves all the time by giving our power away, by telling people they make us feel a certain way. No, they don't make us feel a certain way. We're choosing to feel that way. That's right. And we can be hurt, and it's okay to be hurt. And we need to honor our feelings, but know and be empowered by the fact that they're ours. They're our feelings, because then that way we don't take them out on the world. We have so many people trying to make us suppress our feelings out in the world. And then it comes out as anger, rage, hate, division, separate, all these horrible things, because we're not taking accountability for what we put out. Right. We're acting in a way that is reacting with the same energy that negativity came from. And that just gets us nowhere.
But don't you find that, and this is a great subject when it comes to goals, Deborah probably knows, but you touched on a key word there is accountability. People don't want to be accountable because they're scared of what that means. They won't even commit to their goals because they're scared of, well, if I commit and I disappoint or I fail or I miss expectation, they're so concerned about what other people think. And I'm just like, you know what? What do you think? If you set this goal, and what I call declare, I say declare, own, and achieve, but declare it, then all you should care about is whether or not you did what you wanted to do and how you wanted to do it, blah, blah, blah. And you care if you achieve it or not. And you care of the process. But accountability, I think, even for what you were saying about not taking on other people's junk, I think they often do because they don't want to be accountable to saying, I'm not taking this from you or anybody else. They don't want to stand in their own being, because it's easier to kind of say, well, she told on me. Remember when you were a kid? Well, she did it. She told on me. Or
And the blame cycle is everywhere we look in everything, and people don't see that, not just blaming others, but even self-blame. Taking accountability and responsibility for ourselves is different than self-blame. Blame is self-abuse. Right. Whereas taking accountability and responsibility is just saying, you know what, this is what happened. This is what I did. This is what I can do differently. Let me move on from it. Right. It's not holding on to the trauma of life's events. Right. Yeah. And making them hold us back even more. They don't become something else that holds us back. And I think, with goals like resolutions and things like that self-blame instead of accountability and responsibility are what kept people shutting down and doing, oh, I failed. I give up.
Exactly. So I haven't even tried. They haven't even tried, and they already are blaming themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can even relate to that. I'm not usually one for resolutions, but I have noticed during the pandemic, I've put on a few extra pounds, and I made a decision, not a resolution, a decision that I am going to get back into the best shape of my life. And part of that, a big part of that is my mindset. It's being mindful about what I'm eating. I'm spending so much time on Zoom, and my brain says to me, well, you're going to be sitting in this chair for 2 hours, you need a snack. So, I'm constantly eating. But again, being mindful, that mindset, it comes right back up. And, you were talking about failing. Sometimes I will eat something when I know I shouldn't eat it, but I'm going to eat it. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to, do I need that candy bar? Maybe not, but that's what I want. And I will be accountable for that. But that doesn't mean that I failed. Okay, so we just throw the whole goal away.
Right.
No, you screwed it up. Forget it. We'll try again next year. No, it means enjoy your candy bar.
Right.
That 200, however many calories. And then you get back up and you start over. But you're not starting from where you were before. You're starting from a different place with now a different mindset. Every time you start over, you're starting over with a different mindset.
Well, and I think it's important to understand too that every millisecond, like every moment we are here, we are alive, breathing, we have an opportunity to reset. So you're sitting on the couch and you just finished that Snickers bar, Stacia, and right as you're throwing the wrapper away and you're taking accountability for the fact that you just ate that, you're not beating yourself up, you're taking accountability and you're going, okay, so what can I do now to get on track? Right then and there, you can, make that new decision, and you're shifting your mindset as a result. You're preventing yourself from going into the blame game and well, I'm just going to give up and wait till. I have a thing about starting things on Monday, and it's really bad. So my goal this year, is, because if I all of a sudden screwed up on Tuesday, I'm like, I'll start next Monday. And then I start eating and drinking everything I want Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm like turning 60 in less than 3 weeks. And I am not doing it again to myself. I am going to just simply start immediately. Because I tell my clients that all the time. It's like practice what you preach, Bernadette. So I think you raise a great point. And I think we have an opportunity to reset every moment, literally moment that we are awake and breathing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I actually
Can
have
I tell you how much I love this conversation?
Me too.
And this is why I love bringing people together, because you take the wheel, you go wherever you want to go. But we were talking before we went live. I start the new year in December. I do New Year, New You in January. February, fresh start. March forward. So from my perspective, every day, every week, every month is the opportunity. And I'm the cheerleader saying, it's okay, you can do it. And oh my goodness, yes, keep going. This is wonderful. I just had to say, gold star from Debland. Rachael.
Well, I have, with mindset, when we were, in the pandemic and things were getting just really negative and divisive and all this stuff, I watched my energy slip. And I watched myself starting to get into uncomfortable energy that isn't mine. It's not even mine. I don't want it. And so I started on my blog, Daily Aligning with Love, Abundance, and Peace. And for 1 year, I wrote every single day, because with how much negativity there was out there, I knew I needed to do something to balance me out and bring me back to what was important to me, so that I didn't get caught up in all that stuff. And what came from it was so much abundance. Oh my gosh, the people, the places, the books I got to read. I got to be guest facilitator on so many Mango panels, and I always read the books. So I was like so excited for that. And, and then a whole nother book of mine came from that year of writing after doing that. And it just kept flowing out. And I'm like, this is the energy. This is my energy. And to understand, I don't have to take in what's out there.
Right.
It's a choice I'm making, but it means I have to take an action to not do it. Whether it's not watching the news, whether it's not being a part of social media, if that's what is dragging me down, whatever it is, it had to be my choice of what I needed to do about it to get me in the right mindset to create amazing things in my life.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I just watched myself and I was like, oh, wow, I don't like her. This is not a pretty me.
There was no better example of the influence of mindset than this past couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, because I'll tell people there was probably about a, I don't know, 3-week, 4-week period right before the election in 2020. And we won't go down that path, but where I just allowed all the noise. And to your point, Rachel, I made, several conscious decisions that I wouldn't watch the news anymore. I know enough to like be awake and alert and be part of the world, but that was it. And then I, like you having that practice of daily writing, I started, I continued, I should say, my daily devotionals. I read Jesus Calling by Sarah Young. It's 365 daily devotional writings, short writings that really just kind of help you shift. But yeah, and people will say to me, oh my God, the last couple of years have been horrible, haven't they? I'm like, yeah, no.
Right. Exactly.
Great. My business has never been better. My mind hasn't been better. Yes, I did gain some pounds. Stacy, I'm right there with you. But apart from that, it was all because of mindset.
Yep.
Yeah. All because of mindset.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So what is your default mindset now? Rachel?
My default mindset is from a loving place, because that's what I want to project out. That's what I want to literally live inside and project out. And so everything I write is influenced by that. The way I talk to people is influenced by that. The way I communicate with people is about that. And when I'm not accountable and responsible, I am accountable and responsible for when I'm not there, then I can say, you know what? This was on me. I reacted that way because that's my stuff. This is how I'm feeling. And, and then move on.
Yeah.
But I take responsibility when I'm not there. But having that mindset really helps me stay on track with everything I want out of this life.
That's fantastic.
It is.
So Bernadette, what about you? What is your default mindset?
Mine's all about abundance. I just want abundant kindness, joy. I'm really after peace and calm and serenity. I'm after love, abundant love, abundant aha moments from friends, family, clients, myself. And so my whole theme of this year is abundance for 2022.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Stacia?
I think my default mindset recently, and by that I mean probably the last 3 or 4 years, has really been a what if mindset. And a lot of times when we think of what if, we always think of what is the worst that could happen. But I really like to turn that on its head and think, what is the best thing that can happen? You want to do this and you're immediately talking yourself out of it because you're thinking about the mountain of bad things that could happen and the challenges you could run into. What if it actually works? What if the good, I look at everything as a learning experience, because even if it doesn't work, you learn something from it. So you always look at that what if, what if it does work? Prepare yourself for that instead of, going into it thinking, well, what if this fails?
Right.
think about what you're going to learn from it, how you're going to fly.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that.
I do too.
We had our Twitter chat last night on mindset. I put the recap in the comments, and the thing that keeps going in my head is, so years ago I was speaking at 140 conference in New York, and Ann Curry said everything is probable.
Yep.
And I think that actually goes in line with what everybody said. When you have that mindset, when you know better is possible, then you strive for better or good or abundant or fantastic. Oh, I love this conversation. So what do we do about the people who are having mindset trouble? What advice do you have for those who need to get either shaken out of their patterns, or they just can't see it because they're so busy living in whatever crazy?
I think part of that comes from, I believe what we focus on grows. And I think that because when our mindset is a little askew or a little off, it's because we're focusing on the wrong things. We're always focusing on the negative. We're focusing on the stuff that didn't go right. We're focusing on the places where we, quote unquote, failed, and I put that in air quotes because, again, I don't think that every failure is really a failure.
Right.
But I think that if you focus on the progress that you've made, focus on the things that you've gained, the things that you've learned, focus on the joy you brought to the world and how the world and the people in it have brought joy to you. When you focus on that, I think it actually propels you a little further forward into thinking, yeah, the glass is half full and not half empty.
I love that. As a matter of fact, Stacia, my eye is twitching for some reason. One of my goals this year is I'm writing 2 books, actually. One's pretty outlined, the other one's not, but it's called Blessings and Lessons. Because I believe there's both. There's blessings and lessons.
Yeah.
I don't believe in failure.
That's right.
To your quotes, I don't believe in failures. I believe, I call them missteps if I'm going to call them anything, because I believe there's something to be learned in everything. And therefore, it's the same, like I don't have regrets. I don't believe in regrets. I actually don't understand the concept. I mean, I understand the concept, but because everything that's happened to me, and horrific as some have been and as wonderful as others have been, they've made me who I am. So how can I regret that? Right.
Right.
But yeah, I love the whole idea of the fact that lessons come out of everything.
Yeah.
Point that you made. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so powerful.
Yeah.
So is that your fix for mindset, is to realize there are blessings in everything, or do you have something better?
Me?
You?
Is that to me? Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's better. But what I would suggest to anyone who's really just, maybe they're, again, I'm going to go back to knowing. Maybe they're just not conscious and self-aware, and therefore, take, excuse me, take 5 minutes every day. Now, I'm a journal writer. I have hundreds of journals. I've been journaling since I was 8, and I'm a huge advocate of it. And so I'm going to, repeat it one more time, and grab yourself a journal, even take 5 minutes a day, and just kind of like, don't think about writing, just write out and just learn about yourself in your own, from your head onto a piece of paper. Get it out and put it onto a piece of paper, and just, even if you want prompts, that's a whole different story. You can go look for prompts, but just learn something new about yourself each and every day. And then, to Rachel's point, then really consider, where is that coming from? And what, kind of, how is it impacting me? How is it projecting out into the world? Is it, something I want to keep or something I want to throw away? But just learn about yourself, because the more you're self-aware and totally attentive to who you are, then you're going to start being able to master shifting your mindset. So your beliefs and thoughts, emotions, actions, and words are all what you want them to be.
Yeah. And to that same point, Bernadette, I would also say journaling is awesome. I've been doing it since, I don't know, probably middle school, I think. But what's really pivotal for me is a lot of people journal, but then they never go back and read it.
Oh, I don't.
Go back and read it.
Yes.
Because when, that's where, I think there's this concept of facts over feelings, because you think, well, I haven't really changed. I'm the same person I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. When you go back and you read those journals, it's like, I have changed. There's the evidence of the transformation. And that helps you to really stay in that positive mindset, recognizing I am changing, I'm ever changing and getting better all the time. Go back and read those journals.
Yeah. Cool.
I love journaling. Oh my goodness. And I talk about it a lot in terms of it's great for figuring out problems. And I love the usage for figuring out yourself.
Right. Yep.
So, Rachael, do you have a fix for mindset problems?
Do. And it's funny because, Letters from a Better Me, my book, is about working through all that. It's what the letters journaling is a part. It's used in a way. The way I do the book is first we have to have awareness, then acceptance, and then we take action. Mm-hmm. We have to dig in the dirt. We have to get dirty in our own stuff. We have to do the inner work. So many people want outside change before they're willing to do the inside work. And it never comes through because we always will sabotage ourselves. I once heard in church, we will only allow ourselves to be as happy as we believe we deserve. Mm-hmm. Anything beyond that, we sabotage.
Yep, 100%.
So you have to do the inner work to know that you're not sabotaging yourself. So first of all, it's going in the mirror and watching yourself talk. Write down everything you say to yourself, because that's getting in your way if it's negative. Yeah. And then take that and look at the words and definitions. Anytime you're emotionally triggered by a word out in the world, it doesn't matter what word it is, you can look on social media, see where you're emotionally triggered. And instead of blaming somebody else, take it in and ask yourself, what am I reacting to? Mm-hmm. What in me wants to react that way? Because all of these things hold us back. Anytime we put our energy out in a negative way, that's what we project out. So it's looking at all those things and then being able to shift them and go, okay, so this is my perspective right now, and that's not healthy. What are some possibilities of other perspectives? We're never fixated on any perspective. Right. There's always, you think about it, you ask any of us, and we'll have a different perspective, a little bit different perspective about the same thing. You think about, let's say, working hard or working smart. I personally like working smart because that's what motivates me to do things efficiently and effectively. Some people like the hustle of working hard, and that's what drives them. Right. But it's to know how it affects us personally is so important, and not say another person's wrong.
Right.
Because every time we put that out there, it takes us needing to change anything. We still have that negative energy out there. So it just keeps us from having to change. Right. So if we want to fix our mindset, we got to see where our mindset's faulty.
I love that.
Yep. Yep.
I love this conversation.
It is so much fun, and fun in an intense, life-affirming, let's fix our lives sort of fun, right?
Right.
Well, and here's the miracles of these kind of things. And this is what I love. When we're in the energy that we want to live in, we attract people to our worlds that lift this energy up and make it expand out so much further.
Amen.
And it's such a beautiful thing. I'm literally writing a book about all this right now. I'm editing. It's getting ready to go to my agent so that we can get it out. It's just crazy how that works, that I'm put with people that think so similarly to lift, and to get ourselves out of it. I just love how that works. And people sometimes don't see how much our energy affects everything around us.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Everything.
And this is one little thing someone can do. I'll say it really quickly. Someone can do to prove Rachael correct, right? Prove her right. Even just use a smile. Spend the day, regardless of how you're feeling. Regardless of how you feel. Fake it till you make it. But go out and just simply look people in the eye. At the grocery store, at the gas station, at work, whatever, at home, whatever it is, and just smile at them and see the response you get.
Changes everything. Yes.
And, and because your smile is sending out an energy that's only going to create that same energy back. And so this is like one of those things of fake it where you make it, where if you're not feeling great, go out and just smile, and that energy will shift you.
And for anybody who is saying, well, I have to wear a mask, people see smiles in your eyes.
Good point, Rachael. Thank you very much for the mask.
I am so glad you said it, because I was going to.
Thank you for saying that. But yes, so smile, and
people can tell.
Yes. Okay, let's remove the smile then. Say hi.
Yeah.
Hi,
So my daughter, when she was little, used to talk to anybody in line at the grocery store behind her. She made so many people's day by having a conversation and getting to know the person behind them. And because it's a little girl, it wasn't threatening to them. And they responded so well. And it brought so much joy to my heart. And I know it did to theirs, and to the tellers, and to everybody who got to interact. And then it expands out and goes out into the universe and amplifies multitudes. I just love how it works.
Somebody has a name badge, use their name, and it'll shock the living daylights out of them, and they'll be so excited. I do it all the time. And because my dad taught me to. And I'll be like, hey, Joanne, thank you for, bagging my groceries. And she'll be like, you're welcome. Thanks. You're welcome,
Yeah.
Oh, and look people in the eye.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. We all want to be seen.
You. Yes.
Absolutely. And those are just simple things.
Yep.
And we can all do that.
So I was going to ask for your bonus goals. So Bernadette, is the smiling and saying hi, is that your bonus goal?
Go for it.
Excellent. Love it. Rachael, what goal would you like to gift the people who are listening or watching? What is one thing they can do that's going to make a difference for their mindset?
Question your thoughts. If you don't like what you see, question them. Write down 6 different possibilities of different perspectives.
Love it.
That's amazing. And what about you, Stacia?
I think I would say, in terms of your goal, is, trust yourself, trust the process, that you're going through. Trust how you're feeling, because we all have that, that gut reaction, and, and then just, you have to know and believe, because you're not necessarily going to attract what you want. You're going to attract what you are. So, that's what you need to be. Show up every day, even if it's just an increment, be an increment better today than you were yesterday.
Love it. Fantastic. So, Stacia, where can people find you?
People can find me at stayreadymedia.com. You can go there to my website. I offer different services. I offer master classes, individual training, group training. So you can find all of that right there at stayreadymedia.com. I'm even doing a master class tomorrow. So anybody who's interested in learning how to harness the power of the media, show up, come and have fun with us.
Excellent. And Bernadette, where can people find you?
They can find me at balloffirecoaching.com. They can also find me on my private Facebook group. They can come on in, and we give tremendous opportunities for exposure and for collaborating and learning and growing and coaching and training, all complimentary in that group. It's Powerhouse Mavericks. And we have a very active, fun community.
You do. I'm part of it.
Yes, you are.
And I will put all of these links in the chat, in the recap, which is thedebmethod.com/blog. And anything else that you, my guests, want to share, send it to me tonight so it can go in tomorrow's recap. And Rachael, where can people find you?
You can find me at FromALovingPlace.com. And you can also find me at Facebook, From a Loving Place. And I also have an author page, Facebook, Letters from a Better Me.
Fantastic. Oh, what a wonderful conversation. And what a great way to start the year. So last week I did, goal party for 2022. And I love starting the year with mindset, because what you feel, what you believe truly is what you're going to create, which I think we've proven very well over and over within the conversation. I cannot thank you enough, Bernadette Boas, Stacia Crawford, and Rachael Wolff for joining me. And if you're looking for me, you can find me. I'm at the Deb Method everywhere, or you can learn more about what I do if you go to thedebmethod.com/goals, and you can grab a copy of your goal guide on Amazon or your favorite place to buy books. Same with From a Loving Place as well. And wow. Final thoughts, Rachael.
Love where you are right now. Just right now, and figure out how to love where you are. Look around, find things to appreciate, find things to just make you be in the moment and appreciate it.
Love it. Love loving where you are right now. Bernadette, final thought?
Yeah, I would say you have one life to live, and it goes really, really fast. So spend each and every moment of it learning about yourself and projecting what it is that you want in the world and from the world.
Awesome. And Stacia, final thought.
My final thought is just your mindset. It's all about the story that you're telling yourself. So really delve in, learn about that story and see what small changes that you can make so that you can be better tomorrow than you were today.
Excellent. Well, thank you again, Bernadette, Stacia, and Rachael, for joining me today. And if you've been watching live or the replay or listening, we so appreciate you choosing yourself today and choosing to listen to this conversation to make your day, your week, your month, your year better than ever. And we know you can do it. So go on out there and go for it.